social media. I hope everybody is doing awesome, and I hope everybody had an awesome week as well. Why? Because we got another week in the books, and we got another day in the books as well. But today is also a special day. Why? Because today is the best day of the week, and that day is Friday, and it's not even close. I will fight on that hill. I will be unalived on that hill. I will fight tooth and nail on that hill. That Friday is the best week of all time. Why? Because I get to do something that I love. That is for 3 reasons. I get to talk shit. I get to talk sports, and I get to talk shit about sports, and it's not even close. Oh, man. But before we get into today's episode, do not forget to click the link in the description of this video if you want some awesome Reaper apparel or True Victory merchandise. All you got to do is click the link in the description and click the tab that says Reaper Apparel or True Victory. If you're feeling Reaper Apparel, all you got to do is pick the merchandise that you want, and when it comes to checkout, use code NOMERCYSPORTS10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Don't worry, the link is also, the link. The code is also in the description of this video as well. However, if you're in the mood for some True Victory, and we all know football season is upon us, why? Because I know True Victory reps a few colors of college. But, like I said, if you're feeling True Victory, just click the tab that says True Victory, and when you get to checkout, all you gotta do is use code NOMERCYSPORTS15 for 15% off your entire purchase. Or, hey, maybe you're not a merchandise kind of guy, person, I should say. My apologies. Maybe you're not a merchandise kind of person. Maybe you're the kind of person that's into technological stuff. And you don't want your information getting technically acquired, do you? So, if you are a technological person, obviously, click the link in the description and click the tab that says Best VPN Ever. You will not be sorry. All you got to do is sign up, and your information is protected, and it's not even close. I've been using it for so long. I'm in the military. I've used it for so long, and it has helped me out for, there's no words to describe the VPN that I have been using to make sure that my information stays safe. But we got a show that we got to talk about. There are definitely some topics. If you're tuning in right now, we got some topics that are some juicy fucking topics. Yeah! I said we got some topics that are juicy, and they are definitely worth talking about. So without any further ado, it's time for the most uncut, unfiltered, and uncensored sports talk show you will find on social media. And at the end of this episode, you will know whose game this is. And I guarantee you, you and everybody else will be saying, "No Mercy Sports." Let's get into today's episode.
Nobody can stop me now.
Let me talk to you. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Oh, does that feel so good to say? My God. Quick shout out to Bruce Buffer. Because man, does he know how to deliver, or does he know how to fucking deliver? But I will say this. Yesterday I was on an awesome show, being college sports villain. The host of that show, you already know who it is. Man, when he recruited me to the Dog Media Network, I mean, there's not enough words to describe like how awesome the feeling is. But a quick shout out to the host of College Sports Villain. Man, I can't thank you enough for recruiting me to this media network. And speaking of media network, Dog Media Network, I cannot thank you enough for this opportunity. Oh my God. And if the person in charge of Dog Media Network is watching and listening in, I'm sorry, but Notre Dame is getting the win over South USC. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I mean, we can go into the group chat, we can talk about it, but I've been a Notre Dame fan for so long, and oh man, it was only in the early 2000s that USC peaked, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, that it was Lincoln Riley's first or second year as the USC head coach. He had 2 losses on his record. Those 2 losses came to the University of Utah. One during the regular season, the other, the Pac-12 championship? What the fuck? That's why I got faith in my Notre Dame Fighting Irish, my guy. We'll talk about it later in the group chat. If you want to do something about it, then do something about it, because please, I beg you, I will be Michael Keaton in the audience when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito were on stage talking shit about Michael Keaton. All he was doing was just sitting there. Bring it on, baby. Bring it the hell on. But we got a lot of things we're talking about. These things are juicy. Juicier than a medium rare steak, and it's not even close. I will say this. NBA. More importantly, Adam Silver. You have got to go, and it's not even close. Yeah. Like, my God, dude. You made, when you took over in 2014, you made the league incredibly soft. And it's not even close. Hell, even when wow. Did I really just say that? Even when LeBron went to Miami, he was like, he really showed us his true character. He really showed us his true character, and it wasn't even close. Now, don't get me wrong. I was a fan of LeBron during his years in Cleveland from 2003 to 2010. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about something else. The WNBA fucking All Star Game. Adam Silver, you, my guy, and everybody else in the NBA should be fucking embarrassed about the product that was put on the floor for the NBA All Star Game last year. And it's not even close. All right? I'm telling you right fucking now. I hope you're sitting down, you have your ears open, and your 4 eyes fucking peeled because whether you want to or not, let me talk to you. I believe it was this previous weekend or even at some point during this past week that we witnessed the WNBA All Star Game, all right? Now, the only thing exciting about last year's NBA All Star Game was Stephen Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu in a three-point contest. Was it exciting? Yes, absolutely. But the All Star Game wasn't. The slam dunk contest wasn't because fuck! We have seen so many legends compete in the NBA dunk contest. And what we're seeing right now, it's fucking trash. Dare I say, 2016 was the last time we actually saw a amazing dunk contest held between Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. On top of that, how does Aaron Gordon lose the next fucking year? That man would literally have to do a Michael Jordan arm stretch in the movie Space Jam, and he would still lose, for crying out loud. Getting way too ahead of myself, though. But last year's NBA All Star Game was a complete fucking joke. Nearly 400 points in the entire game. Screw that fucking bullshit. All right? The WNBA All Star Game was actually more exciting than last year's NBA All Star Game was. Speaking of the WNBA, whoever chose Team USA to represent women's basketball, you, sir or ma'am, non-binary, fucking whatever your fucking pronouns are, you need to be fucking fired. Because I don't care what one of the co-hosts said on College Sports Villains last night. You already know who I'm talking about. You already know who I'm referring to. I don't care what he said. Oh, yeah, 4 years ago, Team USA lost to Team WNBA. Could you fucking imagine Aja Wilson with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and what was her name? Ogunbowale on the same team at the same fucking time. If anything, whoever picked Team USA, you need to make sure that Diana Taurasi, 42 years old, she is averaging 16 to 17 points a game, and Caitlin Clark is fucking doing that, and she is 22 years fucking old. Give me a break. I mean, Caitlin Clark literally set a WNBA All-Star Game rookie record with assists. Why? Because she was practically getting double, if not triple teamed in the All-Star Game against Team USA, but she walked away with 10 assists. Yes, she was 0 for 7 from field goal range, and yes, she had 4 points. But the girl did what she needed to do, and that is get assists. You look at the pass that she made to Aaliyah Boston during a play against Team USA. Aaliyah Boston was freaking hyped. If not, Angel Reese was also hyped for that matter. But here's my thing. Now, I know there's people that are going to be out there saying, oh, why do you say that? USA only lost by 8. Yeah, but picture this. Ogunbowale had 34 points in the game, with nearly all of them with nearly half or, God forbid, all of them scored in the third quarter alone. On top of that, Team WNBA had less turnovers than Team USA did. Team USA had 14 turnovers, while Team WNBA had 8 turnovers, and it's not even close. The WNBA, or who even picks players for Team USA, fucking dropped the bag big time. Why? Because Team USA should have Caitlin Clark, Ogunbowale, and Angel Reese, if I'm being fucking honest. Now, you could make an argument for Diana Taurasi or that fake fucking American WNBA player, what's her name? Brittany Griner. Oh, yeah, WNBA isn't getting any respect. So let me go over to Russia to get some more money, and then on top of that, spend 6 months in a Russia prison because I brought over something illegal, regardless of my status, because I'm going into a communist country. And then we make the worst trade in arguably in American history, and it's not even close. We traded the biggest arms dealer on the planet for a fucking WNBA player. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go in the comments. Say something. Say something about how good Brittany Griner is. Say something about, she never did that. She never said this. She never said that. The facts are in the pudding, and it's not even close. But on top of that, did it show that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Ogunbowale got snubbed of Team USA for the Olympics? Hell fucking yeah, dude! Are you kidding me? Maddie, what's up? Hey, what's Kentucky gonna look like this season, my man? And exactly this comment right here. Exactly that comment right there. But like I was saying, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Ogunbowale really got snubbed. I mean, look, yes, it is Caitlin Clark's and Angel Reese's first year in the NBA, but Ogunbowale has been in the league for 5 fucking years, and she has got some credentials to her fucking name. She lit up Team USA like there was no fucking tomorrow in the third quarter. Now, you can try to convince me all you want that, Team USA lost to Team WNBA 4 years ago, and then they went on to win the gold medal. Nah! I don't give a fuck. All right? Imagine Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Ogunbowale, and Aja motherfucking Wilson on the same team at the same fucking time, and it's not even close. Oh, man. The amount of eyes that are going to be tuning in to the fucking Olympics alone, if those 3 players that I just named team up with Aja Wilson, oh my God, Team USA is still bringing home the fucking gold, and it's not even close. It's not. I'm sorry. Or actually, I'm sorry, but I'm not fucking sorry. Why? Because look at the 2 words of this channel. No mercy. Hell, I should call it Cobra Kai Sports. Strike first, strike hard, no fucking mercy, baby. I'll tell you what. Hey, Jacques, what's going on, man? What's going on? 9-3, Kentucky's quarterback will surprise the SEC. Oh, okay. I like that. Well, Matty Ice, my man, I will be doing a live stream of UFC 304. I hope to see you there. Oh, man. But, I mean, I want to talk about the WNBA All Star Game. Embarrassing the NBA All Star Game, because at least the WNBA All Star Game was actually fucking close compared to the NBA All Star Game. Nearly 400 points, but Team WNBA gets a win over Team USA 117 to 109. I don't think so. Look. You know what? Like Uncle Ruckus said, I apologize for my outburst, but at the same time, look at the two words: no mercy. All right, but I will say this. Again, whoever picked the lineup, NBA or WNBA lineup for Team USA, we are royally fucked. And honestly, I'm not saying that I have no faith, but I barely have any faith in the men's USA basketball team delivering the gold. Because we got a 40-plus-year-old LeBron James. We got somebody who's in his late 30s, approaching his 40s, being Steph Curry. If he's in his mid-30s, it is what it is. Just let me know in the comments. Hey, educate me. That's all I'm saying. Don't berate me, belittle me. Educate me. Because that is the type of country that we fucking live in. We should educate people instead of berate and belittle them. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, on top of that, we got Kevin Durant, Derek White, Drew Holiday. We got a lot of people on Team USA or men's Team USA that can really help deliver the gold medal. But we will see what happens. I mean, hey, maybe not, but maybe. A track star, Noah Lyles, awoken a sleeping beast. And when it comes to Team USA, we got some players, all right? You don't want to wake that sleeping giant, but all you want to do, my good man, is all you want to fucking do is make sure that you have some Yu-Gi-Oh cards on you and fucking run 100 fucking meters. World champions of what? The United States? Well, guess what? We're about to show you why you fucking wrong, Noah Lyles. Or I should say, Noah Ho Lyles. Hey, my man, that's what's up. That is what is up. Look, like I said last night on Villains, all right? Kentucky was a little low ranked. I feel like they should have been a bit higher. If anything, in the 10, 9, or 8 spot. If anything. I'm not even going to lie. They do have a good team, but we're going to see what Kentucky can produce on the field going into this season, which, of course, we are fucking weeks away, and I cannot wait. I cannot motherfucking wait. All right. My apologies. Sorry, I'm checking my phone right now. Notifications. It's blowing up like crazy. But like I said last night on college sports villains. Man, oh man, do I wish the host of College Sports Villains was here to talk about this. Because this is one of, if not the best segments I thought about that I'm making a reality. We have been graced enough to witness some great football teams go undefeated. If anything, have one loss, but they still won the national championship. That's okay. Hell, if I'm being honest, I started hating Alabama in 2012 when they beat Notre Dame in the national championship. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm a Notre Dame fan. And on top of that, I got really nothing else to say about Alabama except just of how good they are. I hated them because I wanted to see Notre Dame win the national championship because of the story that was going on in 2012, because of Manti Te'o, and we didn't know it, but obviously he had a girlfriend. But as soon as it came out and we were told that his girlfriend is fake, it was like, well, shit. Kind of glad that I'm kind of glad that Notre Dame didn't win the national championship. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm still not going to root for Alabama. But let's talk about some college football dream matchups that we should have witnessed, or we should witness a Titan versus a clash of Titans, if you will. I mean, over the years, we have been blessed to see some of, if not the best college football teams grace our TV, go undefeated, even have one loss, and win the national championship, you know? Back My man, that's what's up. You best believe I'm about to be the best Kentucky fan this coming season. Let's go, Wildcats! But like I was saying, we have seen so many fucking teams grace our television screen, be just, oh my god. We've seen the 2010 Auburn Tigers. We've seen the 2008 Florida Gators. We've seen the 2009 Alabama Crimson Tide. We've seen the 2019 LSU Tigers. We have seen so many teams that have graced our TV. And they not only did they go undefeated, but they also won the national championship. But somehow we all wonder what it would be like if we got a clash of titans. So let's talk about it, all right? Man, I wish I had the two co-hosts from College Sports Villains here to talk about it, because one of the things that I had in mind was at some point there was a topic that we were discussing where the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers got brought up. Now, I was born in 1990. In 1995, I was 5 years old, sucking my thumb, getting nightmares from horror movie trailers alone, and just oh, good times, good times. But if you were born and raised in the 90s, or you came up in the 90s, man, oh man, the times that we had, especially in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, and going into the 2010s. But speaking of the early 2000s, kind of reminds me, ESPN made a 30 for 30 about this team, and man, looking back, I really hated this team. Like, because they were that good. Even in 2002, I still hated them. They beat Notre Dame down like the dogs that they were, and I hated it. Looking back, you know what? I love to hate them, but I hated to love them. That's it. That's it. The team that I am talking about is the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. Now, if the host of College Sports Villains was here, was that the quarterback for Nebraska? I'm genuinely asking. I am genuinely asking. That's it. Now, if the host of College Sports Villain was here, man, hell, even making the topic alone, we discussed it in a group chat that we had. And man, if we were in person, all right, fair enough. All I needed to know. Thank you for educating me, Maddie. Thank you. Man, but when I brought it up in our group chat, 1995 Nebraska versus 2001 Miami Hurricanes, man, I have never in my life, well, except for one time, if you think, here's the one time that I'm thinking of. If you think pineapple belongs on pizza, let me know in the fucking comments. But, man, the main host of College Sports Villains and one of the other co-hosts let it be known that 1995 would steamroll 01 Miami. But, hey, I'm from New Jersey. I'm from the Northeast, and I'll make it clear. Ain't no Southern hospitality here. All right? That's all I got to say about that. But I will say this. The 01 Miami Hurricanes were the greatest college football team ever assembled. That was an NFL team playing at the college level. For Christ's sake, Santana Moss went to the University of Miami on a track scholarship and walked on to the football team. I mean, come on. Look at the talent that they had. Now, obviously, Ken Dorsey is an offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Oh, my God. But still, look at the talent that the 01 Miami Hurricanes had. They had Santana Moss. They had Andre Johnson. They had fucking Jeremy Shockey. And I haven't even gotten to the three-headed beast that they had in the backfield. Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, fucking Clinton Portis. On defense, you got Vince Wilfork. You got Jonathan Vilma. You got Antrell Roll. You even got two of the greatest safeties of all time. One of them could have been the greatest of all time. Rest in peace, Sean Taylor. But I'm here to tell you that when I was watching the 30 for 30 on University of Miami Part 2, the 01 Miami Hurricanes, they had a literal yes man. Oh, God, there it is. Sorry, I had to burp. But look, what I'm saying is that when I was watching the 30 for 30 about the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, like the team that was going into the 2001 season, they let it be known. Look, we're kids trying to go on a field trip. All we need is a chaperone to look out for us. It was a literal definition of the inmates running the asylum. When 2001 came around, if you have ESPN Plus, I suggest you watch the University of Miami Part 2. You will not be disappointed. But like I was saying, when 2001 came around, it was the literal definition of the inmates were running the asylum. Why? Because former head coach Butch Davis left the University of Miami to try and follow. Oh my God, what's his name? Steve Johnson. Oh, fuck. He was the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes in the 80s, and he helped pave the way for the Hurricanes in the 80s to a perfect season and Jimmy Johnson, that's it. Oh my God. Look, Butch Davis was exactly like Jimmy Johnson. Man, oh man, when I tell you that he went back to Howard Schnellenberger's recruitment ideas of like, hey, let's kind of block off South Beach and recruit from there. Obviously, it worked because in 2000 they went 11-1, and I believe beat Florida in the National Sugar Bowl because Florida State, for some odd reason, would beat out Miami, despite the fact that Miami beat them during the regular season. It is what it is, though. But in 01, if Butch Davis was still the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes in 2001, going up against 1995 Nebraska, are you kidding me? We got Mount McKinney, who never allowed a sack throughout his entire college career, playing football for the University of Miami. And like I said, they had a three-headed beast in the backfield. Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, and Clinton Portis. And on top of that, the wide receivers are Santana Moss and Andre Johnson? Come on! On top of that, you got Jeremy Shockey with Kellen Winslow right behind him. I mean, it's not even close. Offensive-wise, it is not even fucking close that the University of Miami, the fucking Hurricanes, beat the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now, if we're on the outside looking in, yes, in some way, or I shouldn't. Yes, the Cornhuskers beat the 01 Miami Hurricanes coaching wise, because I've seen a thing or two from the host of College Sports Villains and the other the co-host of College Sports Villains as well, that the coach of Nebraska was saying, hey, we're going to beat you down. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to run you fucking ragged. But coaching-wise, yes, the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers take the win. But talent-wise, the University of Miami also takes the win. And like I said, if the 01 Miami Hurricanes still had Butch Davis as their head coach and not Larry Croker, that dude was a literal yes man. In 01, the Miami Hurricanes had the fucking talent. But they also had a yes man as a head coach. And I'll tell you one thing, I'll tell you right fucking now. The 01 Miami Hurricanes are exactly what we expected the Brooklyn Nets to be when they had Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Steve Nash as a head coach. I will die on that fucking hill, and it's not even close. Could the 2001 Miami Hurricanes beat the 1993 Florida State Seminoles with Charlie Ward? Ooh, that is a good question. I'm going to do my research on that, and I will get back to you. One thing I plan on doing is doing a UFC 304 live stream. Don't worry, Dog Media Network. The camera is just going to be on the moneymaker right fucking here. I will not show the pay-per-view in any way, shape, or form. All right. I will just be providing commentary. And at the end of the day, I swear on St. Michael, I'm not trying to get in trouble for copyright laws. All right. Y'all gave me the opportunity. I'm taking advantage of said opportunity, but I'm making sure that I don't get in trouble for copyright laws. But Maddie, be sure to comment that tomorrow night when I do a live stream of UFC 304. I will do my research and I will get back to you on this tomorrow night. All right. So we've talked about why some players should be, or why some female players should be on Team USA from Team WNBA. And we've also talked about why, oh God, what is it? Oh, yeah. We've also, well, in my opinion, we've also talked about why, in a way, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, arguably the greatest football team ever assembled, because they were a NFL team playing at the college level. In 2001, you dropped the 2001 Miami Hurricanes in the AFC East. Remove the Miami Dolphins. I guarantee you, in some way, shape, or form, the 01 Miami Hurricanes not only have a winning record, but also somehow find a way to the playoffs. But speaking of football, it is right around the corner. I cannot fucking wait. We are mere weeks away from college football and the NFL, and I am all here for it. I cannot wait to see the kickoff for college football and the NFL in general. Now, last week, myself and the host of College Sports Villains took on the AFC South, and man, did we have a lot of things to agree about. But there's still one more team, or let me say this. We finished up the AFC West last week because 2 weeks ago we talked about the AFC West, what teams are going to finish with what record and their college counterpoint. If you're not understanding, Jesus, why that? Anyways, if you're not understanding about what I'm talking about, I'll say it like this. So last week for the AFC South, one of the teams that we talked about was the Tennessee Titans. Who's their college counterpart? The University of Tennessee. Another team that we did was the Houston Texans. Who's their counterpart? University of Houston, the Cougars. Now, oh God, I'm gonna catch a lot of smoke for this, but like that one movie. Quite frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. One team we talked about was the Indianapolis Colts. Their college counterpart, I decided to go with the Purdue Boilermakers. Looking back, I probably should have done Notre Dame. God, it was so hard to pick between the two. All right. But it seems like Purdue has a good game every now and again, and especially when you're playing them at night and they do blackout uniforms with the black helmets. Man, you better pray to God that you walk out of there with a fucking win. Anyways, so we are finishing up the AFC South with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I was thinking a lot about this this morning. Should I go with Jacksonville State? I feel like they're in the FCS, but I'm trying to look at teams in the FBS. One of the teams that are in the FBS, but also still in the panhandle of Florida, because Jacksonville is in one corner of the panhandle. Meanwhile, this team is in the other corner of the panhandle. That team being Florida State University. Now, some people seem to think that Florida State is gonna go on a fucking revenge tour? Huh? Nah! They were literally playing Georgia with their third stringers, and on top of that, they lost by 60 fucking points. Get the fuck out of here if you honestly think, I dare you let me know in the comments right fucking now, if you think that Florida State is going to go on a revenge tour, because I'll tell you one thing, and I'll tell you right now, I hope everybody that's tuning in has their eyes peeled and ears open, because whether you want to or not, let me talk to you. There is no way in fucking hell that Florida State goes on a revenge tour. If anything, one team that is going on a revenge tour is the Georgia Bulldogs. All right? They are pissed because they lost in the SEC championship to Alabama, an 11-1 team that had no right being in the college football playoffs. Why? Because Georgia deserved to be there. And on top of that, they were the reigning defending national champions. But God forbid, this was the worst 11-1 Alabama team I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. God forbid they got to get included into the college football playoffs, because the number one team in the country at the time, being Georgia, couldn't get the job done. Oh, hey, you know what? Alabama doesn't look too good at 11-1. They're going through a quarterback carousel. Nick Saban doesn't look like he knows what he's doing out there. Teams are capitalizing on the NIL transfer portal, but they get into the college football playoffs. How'd that work out? Because I'll tell you one thing, and I'll tell you right now, there is no fucking way that if Georgia got included into the college football playoffs, that Michigan would have beaten Georgia. There is no way in hell. Ain't no fucking way. I will take that to my grave. I will die on that hill. I will fight tooth and nail on that hill. Apologies. I have seen so much Archer in my life. If you don't know the show, I highly suggest it. And if you have Hulu, definitely check out Archer. It is definitely worth watching. Which basically explains why I'm like talking in a way that I'm gonna go down to my last breath. Anyways, though, let's get into some schedule predictions. Oh, computer doesn't want to operate for some reason. Anyways, first game on Florida State's schedule is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, they haven't been too good at football. I believe they're somewhat good at basketball, but I will say this. When they had that yellow jacket logo, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you best look it up, because Georgia Tech ate on that yellow jacket logo. It was so hard, it had no business going that hard. Anyways, so first game of the season, Florida State gets a win over Georgia Tech. Next game up, they are home against Boston College. Oh, God. Hang on a sec. I want to see what Boston College's record last year was. And you're not going to show it, but we'll try. Here we go. So they ended up going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So last year, Boston College ended up going 6-6. Now they have a decent schedule going into 2024, but if anything, I'm not trusting Boston College anytime soon. So, Florida State welcomes Memphis going 2-0. And honestly, I think Florida State gets the win 3-0. They also welcome University of California. They go 4-0. They are at SMNU. SMU. Where the fuck did SMNU come from? Anyways, SMU has always been a underdog type of team. They've really started to find a rhythm over the last few years. So I think SMU gets the win over Florida State. They take their first loss of the season. Now they welcome Clemson. And one of the things that was talked about on last night's show of College Sports Villains, shout out to College Sports Villains. One of the things that was talked about was Dabo Swinney on the hot seat for college football head coaches. Huh? Nah. Get the hell up out of here. So I think Clemson goes into Florida State and Clemson gets the win over Florida State. They are currently 4-2, but they go into Duke. Duke somehow, some way, in the first, second, third fucking game of last year, got a 21-28-7 win over Clemson? What the fuck did I miss? Oh my God. But as far as Duke goes, when it comes to football, they had been building something. And honestly, I think Florida State suffers their third straight loss in a row. Now comes the most important game on their schedule. One of the best rivalries in college football. The Battle of Florida. We got Florida State going into the University of Miami. I'm a bad guy, the one you love to hate. Andrew Anderson State. Oh. All right. So we got somebody backstage right now, and we are currently going to introduce him. Here he is. I'm a bad guy, the one you love to hate. Andrew Anderson, spitting truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast, like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I'll bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. Hard rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free. Yes, he is here, the host of College Sports Villains, Mr. Andrew Anderson. What is going on, my man?
It is a pleasure to be here. So I only have 10 minutes. Then I have to go do a 15-minute spot on the other show, and then I'll be back. So that's where I'm at. I wanted to come make an appearance. I've been at work all day. I've been looking forward to this all day. I can tell by the comments that You already talked about 2001 and 95. I got to
Hey,
tell you right now.
we can easily rehash that when you come back on. I promise
Yes.
you. We're
Yes.
not. This is definitely a topic not worth forgetting. I promise you that right now.
Where the fuck is Chris?
This
way, buddy.
The show of last night's show, or the star of last night's show, I should say.
Mommy's not on the show tonight, buddy. So
go find yourself a broom.
That's right. Go find a broom and hit mommy with it. He said, "Okay." I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. Yeah, I totally instigated that. But yeah, so I don't have long before I have to jump on the other show. Work all day, man. Like I get off at 8, but I'm on vacation now. So
all right. So right now I was going over. I was talking about NFL teams and their college football counterpart, and it was hard deciding this team because I went with the final team in the AFC South is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it was like, do we go with Jacksonville State or Florida State? But because Florida State is still in the panhandle of Florida, why not? So currently right now I'm going over Florida State's football schedule this upcoming season. We are a few weeks away and I cannot fucking wait for it.
We are. Well, this is the last month of the year without football.
Yes, sir. So let's see. They are home for 4 games. They are home against Georgia Tech. I got them winning.
Yeah, go show mommy. I'm listening. You got them beating Georgia Tech.
Yep. They're home again against Boston College. They went 6 and Boston College went 6-6 last year, but I still think that Florida State still gets the job done.
Yeah, Boston College is a terrible team.
Yeah. Next game up, they welcome Memphis, another team that I think they get the win over. So they're 3-0.
Yeah, they beat Memphis.
Yeah. Next game up, they play the University of California.
That's a
they
win.
really haven't been good since Aaron Rodgers, Marshawn Lynch, and everything like that. So
yeah.
So right now I currently got them at 4-0.
Me too.
So this next game, they go up against SMU. They've been under the radar for quite a while, but I really think that SMU squeaks out a win against Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State's taking the L.
Mm-hmm. After that, they go back to Tallahassee and welcome Clemson, and man,
they're taking an L.
Yes. Duke, they've been so underrated in football over the last few years. They're really starting to come up, and yes, they do take the L.
Yep, they take the L. They're not beating any of those 3 teams.
Yeah. Next game up, we got a Battle of Florida. Florida State at the University of Miami.
Miami's a better team than Florida State. They lost too much, Florida State did. I'm getting Miami's winning that game.
Yeah. So right now we both got them at 4-4. Yep. Fair enough. After that, they welcome North Carolina.
They're taking the L. Mac Brown's built a great program right there. They're 4-5.
Yep, easily. After that, they go into South Bend to take on Notre Dame.
4-6. They're not beating Notre Dame.
And they finish the year off 6-6 because they played Charleston Southern, and their last game is against Florida. Both games at home.
But Florida's not a good football team, but neither is Florida State. That's a toss-up. Really, they're going to be 5-6 going into that game, needing to win the game at home to make a bowl. I think they're gonna do enough. They're gonna be at home. They need the game to go to a bowl. Florida State wins that game
against Florida.
Florida, yeah, 6-6.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so let's go over the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had an incredible start to the season last year, but they fell off for some ungodly reason. I don't know. It might have been injuries. It might have been one thing. It might have been the other.
Well, I mean, their fucking $280 million quarterback was hurt. I mean, that says it all.
Yep, absolutely. Now, yes, they did finish 9-8, but God, it's no surprise that Houston finished first in the AFC South standings.
Yeah, if Trevor Lawrence wasn't hurt, they do much better than 9-8 last year.
Oh, easily, and they probably compete for Houston, if not are above Houston for the first place spot in the AFC South.
Yeah, the South is coming down to Houston and Jacksonville. There's no doubt about it. That's how it's going to go. I gotta jump off here and see if I can get on the other show. But I'll give you my quick prediction for them. I've got them at 11-6. Like I've already previewed them. They're going to be a good football team if Trevor Lawrence can stay healthy. 11-6 is mine. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna talk about some Furman Paladins on the flagship show. Then I'll be back.
All right, too easy, my man. Hey, enjoy the show, my man.
See ya. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so that was the host of College Sports Villains. Man, oh man, it's always a pleasure to have him on this show. And like I said, a quick shout out, my man. Thank you for recruiting me to the Dog Media Network, and a quick shout out to the Dog Media Network. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Your opportunity is not wasted. I am raw. I am passionate. There are just, anyways. I'm getting way too ahead of myself right now. But let's go over the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule going into the 2024-2025 season. Now, much like Florida State versus Miami, we got a battle of Florida starting things off. The Jacksonville Jaguars go into Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Dolphins just signed Tua on a 4-year, $210 million contract. I honestly think that going into this game, I think that the Jaguars could pull away with a win. Now, these next 3 games, man, are they a gauntlet. We will see what happens because right now, the Jaguars go back to Jacksonville to welcome the Browns. And honestly, Deshaun Watson, my guy, you are about as useless as basketball cleats, all right? You want to sit up in the skybox and watch your team fucking lose while Joey Eminem Burrows, if you know the references of what I made about Joe Burrow, because the dude cut his hair and dyed it blonde like he was fucking Slim Shady. Anyways, like I said, if you know the references, good on you. Let me know in the comments. But Jacksonville goes on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. Man, I honestly think that the Browns defense gets it done, especially with Myles Garrett leading the way. After that, they traveled to Buffalo to take on the Bills. This is definitely going to be a shootout, but ultimately, I got the Bills beating the Jaguars. After that, they go on the road again to take on Houston. Jacksonville, I'm sorry y'all lose to Houston. Why? Because Houston has Stephon Diggs. They have Nico Collins. They have CJ Stroud. They have a young core with a veteran wide receiver who can help get things fucking done, and it's not even close. Anyways, after that, they go back to Jacksonville to welcome the Colts. This is where Jacksonville needs to bounce back and get the win over the Colts. So right now, I got them at 2-3. After that, they welcome the Chicago Bears. Man, as much as I've supported the Bears, it's hard to keep supporting them because they traded away their best quarterback that could lead them to a winning season for a quarterback that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and would rather paint his fucking nails. Get the fuck out of here, Caleb Williams. I will take Justin Fields over you any day of the week. Why? Because the man can throw. The man is mobile. Look at what you've done at USC. You had a trash O-line. Yes, you actually put up some numbers, but you lost to fucking Tulane in the Sugar Bowl when Tulane hasn't even been relevant since the fucking 90s. Get the fuck out of here, my guy. Anyways, I apologize for my outburst. Anyways, Jacksonville gets a win over the Bears. They also get the win over the Patriots. They take back-to-back losses versus the Packers and Eagles. They get the win over the Vikings. They take a loss over the Lions. They redeem themselves. With a win over the Texans. I think they also get a win over the Titans. The Titans do take a step forward, a progressive step forward. But, oh, Jesus, there it is. But, ever since the Titans lost Derrick Henry, ever since the Titans lost Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel, they are definitely not what they were. If they had Will Levis under center instead of Ryan Tannehill, the Titans would definitely be serious contenders in the AFC for a Super Bowl. I said what I said. Let me know in the comments. But next game up, they go back to Jacksonville and welcome back They go back to Jacksonville and welcome the New York Jets, assuming that Aaron Rodgers didn't tear his other Achilles. The Jets get the win. So after the loss against the Jets, they go into Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. This is definitely tough, but I will say this. I think that Antonio Pierce has definitely brought a certain swag to the Raiders that we will definitely see for sure. And honestly, in my honest opinion, I really think that the Raiders can be contenders in the AFC West. That's all I'm saying. Next up, they go back to Jacksonville and welcome the Titans. They get the win, and to cap things off, they go into Indianapolis and they get the season sweep over the Indianapolis Colts. So let me see here. Win, loss, win. So 1-0, or 1-0, or 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, 5-5, 5-6, 6-6, 7-6, 7-7, 7-8, 8-8. Okay, so right now I got them going 9-8. All right, that's all I'm saying about Jacksonville. But I mean, when you look, you goddamn right, we gotta talk about Nebraska. You goddamn right, Mr. Anderson. Man, that's tough. I mean, look, I'm looking at Jacksonville's schedule, but it's so hard. Like, yes, they have some key wins, but they definitely get some losses because look at some of the teams that they are playing right now. We get to see what Anthony Richardson is made of going into this season. Period. Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? When you come back on, we're going to talk about that. Not only are we going to recap about some of the things that I've talked about on this show right now, but we're also going to talk about Jacksonville's schedule. And I'll tell you that right now. Bringing spot on the WNBA. Who? Who are you talking about, my guy? Like, for real. Hey. But, God, I cannot wait until the NFL and college football is here. I mean, oh, God. I feel like a kid in a candy store. I feel like a kid on Christmas Eve. It is so hard to sleep at night knowing that football and knowing that NFL football and college football are right around the corner. But I will say this. We got plenty of things to talk about when the host of College Sports Villains returns back. For right now, we are going to take our final commercial break. We are going to talk about a lot of things. It's going to be fun, and you're not going to want to miss it. Y'all better stay tuned. I'll tell you that right now.
Boy, that's mediocre.
Then what the f are you doing?
I was drinking that.
No, you were surviving it. Give excitement a try with Bones Coffee. Click on the link below to order some for yourself.
Here. Whoa is right.
That substance you were sipping before is what we in the industry refer to as ass water. Sure, it technically has caffeine, but at Bones Coffee, we believe in the experience of waking up every morning looking forward to that first tasty cup. That's why we roast carefully selected beans in small batches to perfection, so you can count on quality in every cup. And not only that, Bones has a ton of fabulous flavors from which to choose.
Hey, did someone mention flavors? Highland Greg, pleasure to meet you.
What'll it be, Greg?
You know, I've been hankering for the spiced rum flavor of Highland Grove, please.
Greg, I'm surprised by the size of your bagpipe.
Ugh, it's not the size of the bagpipe that matters, laddie.
Yeah, it's how hard you blow it. Yeah, let's leave the talking to me.
Oh, gee, I just got back from chasing some hosers out of the grilling rink. I could go for some maple bacon coffee right about noon.
Coming right up.
Hey kid, you sing?
Yeah.
That's why this place looks like
Here you are, my salty siren.
Thanks. I need the salted caramel chocolate pick me up after dealing with this loser.
How in the world are all these people getting in here?
We just walked in. Click on the link below to stop drinking water and get yourself Bones Coffee today. Or maybe you don't want to click on the link below because you think, flavored coffee's not for me. That was Sarah G's experience. She says, usually flavored coffees taste chemically to me, but these do not. They have a really pleasant aroma and flavor. They do not leave that weird residue on the bottom of your mug like many flavored coffees do. And Cheryl S. says, I ordered this for my son's GF for a B-day. She loves it. Why, Cheryl, that's awfully nice of you. Unfortunately, they broke up and I can't return it. frowny face. Well, that's awkward. At least she liked it, though. Stop settling for mediocrity and order Bones coffee today.
Now, let me talk to you. Man, do I want to try some Bones coffee right now. In fact, maybe tomorrow I'm going to go over to my local Walmart and see if they even have some Bones coffee. But for right now, you know what? I'm willing to go over the 2-hour mark because there are so many juicy topics worth talking about. It is unfucking real. And man, I tell you what, all right. So we already did Florida State and Jacksonville. The host of College Sports Villains, Mr. Andrew Anderson, who already came in and let it be known that somehow Jacksonville goes 11-6. Man, I like to see that happen. But right now, I got them going 9-8 because there are definitely a few teams out there going into this season that are definitely going to be teams to be reckoned with. But we've talked about the AFC South. Let's move on to the AFC North. Let's move on to the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, they went 3-9 last year. So, first game out the gate versus Towson, they get the win. No surprise. University of Pittsburgh, they've always been a tough team. Pittsburgh gets a win over Cincinnati. They are 1-1. They go into Miami of Ohio, who they are suspicious. You know what? I think Miami of Ohio gets a win over Cincinnati. They go back to Cincinnati to welcome Houston. They take a loss. They take a loss to Texas Tech. They go into Central Florida, take another loss. They welcome Arizona State. I think that they get the win over Arizona State. So right now, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-5. So right now, after Arizona State, they are currently 2-5. They go into Buffalo, they go into Colorado to take on the Buffaloes, arguably the most hyped team since last year going into this season. But Cincinnati takes a loss. So, my apologies. 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 2-5, 2-6. All right. So next game up, they play West Virginia. They go 2-7. After that, they go into Iowa State to take on the Cyclones. They go 2-8. They go into Kansas City to take on the Wildcats. They go 2-9, and to finish things off, they welcome TCU. They go 2-10 on the season. Just Cincinnati. I'm sorry. It is what it is, you know? It really is what it is. I mean, some of these teams, yes, it may look like you can get some wins over them, but other teams, the other teams that are looking at you on their schedule, you are a certified circle team. That is what the fuck y'all are. All right, so we got somebody back, and you already know who it is.
I'm a bad guy, the one you love to hate. Andrew Anderson, spitting truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast, like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try.
Yes, he is here. He is back once again. Dog Media Network, I apologize. I know y'all have a 2-hour time limit, but I am willing to take that risk because we got some recapping that we need to do right now. Now, over the course of, I believe, last weekend, we saw Team WNBA take on Team USA, and Team WNBA got the win. We saw Ogunbowale put up 34 points. I believe half, if not nearly all of them, were scored in the third quarter alone. Could you imagine Team USA with Asia Wilson leading the way with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Ogunbowale? Hell, even Aaliyah Boston for that freaking matter. Do they still bring home the gold? And did the All Star Game show why Ogunbowale, Reese, and Clark were snubbed from the Team USA?
Yeah. So I mean, imagine that lineup. I don't think anybody is going to beat the lineup they have now, and they damn sure wouldn't beat it if you put those all stars in there as well. So where we're at, like, I'm still backstage. I haven't even done my spot on the main show yet. Like, and then stuff coming up even before me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna jump on my phone. I'm gonna get back on No Mercy because this is one of my favorite shows to be on, right? So so I'm watching them right now. But yeah, man, imagine putting Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese. I mean, ain't nobody beating that team. Like,
No,
it's just,
absolutely not. I mean, Caitlin Clark even put up a WNBA Rookie All Star Game record of 10 assists. Now, granted, she wasn't feeling it from the field, going 0 for 7 from 3-point range, but she still lit it up with putting up 10 assists. I mean, come on. With Asia Wilson on Team USA, imagine what that would look like.
yeah. I mean, the fact that she's not means she said no. That's because she's the Michael Jordan of the league. That's all I can think is she just said no. She's very loyal to her team. Maybe that has something to do with it. She wants to continue to play with the Aces. But I promise you, had they come at her and been like, "Hey, blah blah blah, we want you to play." I mean, had she come to them and said, "I want to play," it would have been a definite yes. She's the best player in the league. I mean, not dispute that. I mean,
oh yeah, she's a back-to-back champion with the Las Vegas Aces.
Right, and like she's the GOAT. By the time her career is over, barring some kind of nasty injury, which I hope doesn't happen, she will go down as the greatest. I mean,
yes.
Good. I watched her at South Carolina. Obviously, I'm a huge Gamecock fan. It was amazing. Like she was unstoppable in college, and then she's unstoppable there. I mean, she's just that good.
I mean, we'll see what happens come playoff time because the Indiana Fever have a spot in the playoffs. The Vegas Aces, for whatever reason, are the defending champions, but they have somewhat of a mid spot in the playoffs. And the last I checked, the Minnesota Lynx are first in the playoff spot.
Well, they've been decimated with injuries. The Aces have.
Okay. Yeah.
And
that'll do it.
Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen and Steve Kerr and, Dennis Rodman's probably not going to win a lot of games, right? We saw that with LeBron in his early time in Cleveland where he had no talent around him.
We even saw it in MJ's early career without Scottie Pippen. Like, he was getting decimated by the Boston Celtics and even the Detroit Pistons.
Well, when you could triple team the only good player on the court, it makes a difference, right? Because that's obviously. So that's where we are. That's what's happening right now. Like she's carrying the load, and they know that like she's really the only threat at this point. So.
No, and it completely makes sense. My thing is, if Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Ogunbowale were on Team USA, my God, the amount of eyes that would tune in for Team USA's women's basketball team would be through the fucking roof.
Yeah, it would, but I'm so disinterested in the Olympics, to be honest with you. I usually look forward to it, but I haven't been hyped about it at all. The opening ceremonies were hot garbage, absolute. The fact that they let this bullshit go on there, it just speaks volumes to society and a culture. But I just I fuck the Olympics, man. To sit there and make fun of Jesus in the Last Supper, I mean, I for them. Like I don't pick political sides. That's not who I am. I don't care about politics. But
right.
Is say it on my show every week. I end the show with John 3:16, and I make no secret about who I am. And blasphemy is where I draw the line. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't get a chance to see the opening ceremony for the Olympics. The only thing I saw was Celine Dion, God forbid, closed out the opening ceremony. It was like, whoop-de-doo, Basil.
It was hot garbage. They made fun of the Last Supper. They made just some kind of woke fat woman. It was crazy. Like they can kick rocks is what they could do. I have no interest in the Olympics whatsoever.
Oh my God. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, I completely agree. I'm honestly glad hearing that I didn't tune in for the opening ceremony.
Right. Be glad.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is one reason and one reason alone that I've been looking forward to today, because we have been blessed to have witnessed so many great college football teams grace our television, whether they had one loss, whether they went undefeated, whether they had one loss and won the national championship. The list goes on. But what if said teams that went undefeated or even had one loss got together, but also still won the national championship,
Right.
Honestly, I really feel like this topic that we're about to talk about, if we were in person, hands would be thrown.
Well, it's really just because you're wrong. That's.
Ooh.
I mean,
no. I'm not saying like, oh, you about to. No, I love it. I love it for real.
I witnessed both of these teams personally. I lived through it. Right, I'm old. And I watched the dominance. Not that 0-1 Miami was not good. They easily could have taken 2 L's during that season if it wasn't for a few bounces that went their way, specifically Florida State.
Yep.
And Virginia,
wide right, part 3.
Right, and Virginia Tech was a tough game for them too. But Nebraska just mowed down everybody. Nobody was close. And then they played a one-loss Florida team in the Sugar Bowl and beat the absolute dog shit out of Steve Spurrier's air raid 56-20. Like, that's how it went down.
Damn.
I mean, like, they were the best team I've ever seen. I'm not a Nebraska fan. Like, I that fight. But they beat they played Oklahoma. I mean, like, they played everybody. And it didn't even matter who it was. I mean, it was a beat. Like, so it was 1 versus 2, Nebraska versus Florida. I actually think Nebraska was only like a 2-point favorite. Like, it was a close spread. And then they got and it was very obvious who the better team was, right? So
absolutely.
So they beat down everybody, man. Like, they just beat down. It was a show. The '95 Nebraska Cornhuskers put on, like a show, man, and it was must-see TV, right? ABC played all their games, so I got to watch them. They were. I know we have ESPN and Fox and all that now, but like, man, you got 4 channels to watch college football when I was young, and you were lucky to get it. ESPN wasn't around; it wasn't a thing. And when it did become a thing, it was one channel, not like 17 like it is now. No Fox Sports, none of that.
Yep.
None of that was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the way it was. And watch, I watch them beat down everybody week in, week out. I'm at Oklahoma, like just good teams. Texas, just beating them down. And then when they played Florida, I'm like, all right, the SEC. Here comes a real test for this team. Let's see what they got. And man, they beat the absolute dog shit out of the Florida team. Just busted them up, right? And
damn.
That's just how it went down. Like, it's hard to explain if you didn't see it, I guess is where I'm going with it. Unless you were there and watched it, it was unreal. You couldn't stop them. You couldn't move the ball. I mean, like, they had the ball so much that there were some teams that only had the possession of the ball 4 times in a game. Fathom that metric. You got 4 chances to put up 50 points, which is what Nebraska averaged. Well, those numbers don't add up. Even if you scored all 4 times, with 2-point conversions, you're still not hitting that number, right?
Well, you, sir, have put up a good argument. But I'm going to tell you where you are wrong. I'm going to tell you right now. Miami in 2001 was the best NFL football team assembled in college. They you take the Miami Dolphins out of the AFC East and you put the 01 Miami Hurricanes in the AFC East, I guarantee you they at least make the wild card and get a win in the playoffs. They were that stacked talent-wise.
For one, the problem with that argument is the big name people were big name people, right? Like, but at the end of the day, the college game is not the same pro game, and it damn sure wasn't back then. Like they ran the ball, you run the ball, right? And then you had Hawks on defense, and we're talking the college game. Rules are different too. Rules are different back then. And the clock stopped. I mean, there was a lot of different rules, and that 01 Miami team could not have got the ball enough. And then, especially with Ken Dorsey back there throwing the ball against Nebraska, I mean, Steve Spurrier's fun and gun team with Shane Matthews, like 11-1 or 10-1 in the SEC, right? They couldn't do it. I mean, and their offense was better than the 01 Miami offense. Like Fred Taylor, Shane Matthews, like they were better than.
Please. The 01 Miami Hurricanes had a 3-headed beast in the backfield. Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, and Clinton Portis. They also had Santana Moss, who went to Miami on a track scholarship and was a walk-on for the Miami Hurricanes.
The problem with that is no matter how good you are, you can't run on a team that's in the backfield. Like as soon as the ball snaps, like you just can't. So they're going to put 8 people on the line. It doesn't matter if Barry Sanders is back there. Like every single defensive lineman and linebacker.
Yeah, but good luck getting through McKinney, who allowed 0 sacks throughout his fucking college career.
I'm telling you, it's a different beast. Like so they hand the ball off. Okay, so now they go to throw the ball. Right, Ken Dorsey's going to throw at least 4 interceptions on that defense. Like it's didn't see it.
Debatable.
It's not, but it's not.
Come on, they had Santana Moss and Andre fucking Johnson at the wide receiver helm.
It's irrelevant when Ken Dorsey can't throw the ball. That's where I'm at with that. It's irrelevant if he can't get the ball off, right? So that's the problem. That's where we're at. I mean, like that defense, it's hard to explain. So that
but Miami's defense was on a different level as well.
Fred Taylor was as good as any running back you just mentioned on that Miami team.
Oh, please. Vince Wilfork was 6'5", 350 Plus, God forbid that Nebraska offensive line can actually hold that man. And then on top of that, if Nebraska decides to throw the ball downfield, you best be aware of Sean Taylor, who could have been the greatest of all time. Rest in peace. And Ed fucking Reed.
Well, I mean, I can't see the comments and all because I'm on my phone. I'm not on the actual main StreamYard. But like, anybody who watched those two teams play, which I did, would tell 95 Nebraska. I mean, they almost got beat by Florida State, 0-1 Miami, right? And 0-1 Florida State was not as good as 95 Florida. Like, they just weren't. I'm telling you right now, the defense was too much. It would be too much for that Miami team. As good as they were, just because you were the best team then does not make you the best team ever. And like I said, I don't have a dog in this fight either, just like you don't. You're not a fan, Nebraska fan. But like at the end of the day, like that, it was a different beast. It's hard to explain what that 95 Nebraska team was like. So we have debated this actually on the main show that I'm maybe going to be on. I don't know. We have and like there was one person out of 12 that was on your side.
What?
Yes. So I mean I don't know how to get it through your head what that 95 Nebraska team was. And the
Look, I'm sorry that I was 5 years old and still scared of horror movie trailers.
just to throw this out there, right? 0-1 Miami was not even the second best team in our top 10 all-time list.
What?
Yeah, true story. They were number 3. But it was a consensus 95 Nebraska was number 1. So
wow.
Well,
bring me on that show. I will bring up the same argument I am putting up right now.
And then so did the one dude, and you know, and then all 12 of us are like, wait a minute. So I want you to understand what Nebraska's team has, and I want you to understand what Tommy Frazier. So Tommy Frazier, Lawrence Phillips. I mean, and then the offensive line, who every single one of them were a first-round pick, by the way. So keep that in mind. Like you can't like Miami's defense wasn't all that. Like they were good, but they had a lot of soft spots, which is what Florida State exploited, right? So, and also 0-1 Miami was 100% built to stop the pass because that's what it was back then.
Yeah, because they had Sean Taylor and Ed Reed.
Right. So what do you do when Nebraska comes into town, runs the triple option, throws the ball 3 times in the entire game, and then just continues to hit it? So you're going to bring Ed Reed and Sean Taylor up to the line, like you're going to put your safeties up there because they're not going to throw the ball, and then Tommy Frazier's going to throw the ball. I mean, it's like there's nothing you could do to stop them is my point. They would eat the clock. They would eat the whole game.
Look, I see it like this. Talent-wise, Miami wins. Coaching-wise, Nebraska easily wins. If 0-1 Miami still had Butch Davis as their head coach, oh my God, it's Miami and it's not even close.
NFL talent, they had more. College football talent, they did not. Tommy Frazier was a better quarterback in that role for what he did than Ken Dorsey will ever think he would.
Fair. That's fair.
It's hard to. So I would put 95. It's not just a shit on 0-1 Miami. I would put 95 Nebraska up against any team in history.
Ooh, okay.
They would win.
Okay, well, hey, we got a lot of dream matchups that we would love to see. We will definitely keep 1995 Nebraska on the radar. That is for damn sure. And look, I'm not taking anything away from the 0-1 Miami Hurricanes. I'm just looking at the talent that Ken Dorsey had around him. He had Santana Moss. He had a 3-headed beast in the backfield. He had Andre Johnson. And the defense was second to none.
I could not disagree more. So you said 0-1's Miami's defense was second to none.
We had Jonathan Vilma, fucking Vince Wilfork, Antrell Roll, Sean Taylor and Ed Reed, for crying out loud.
I'm gonna even go.
Every single one of those guys got drafted to the NFL.
I'm going to go even further, and that's phenomenal. But once again, we're talking about the college game. It's a different game. So I'm not. They're not even probably top 10 in the all-time defense to me. Like it's you misunderstand.
So.
Well, I mean, JQ is allowed his wrong opinion as well. But JQ is another guy who is young, right? Never watched 95 Nebraska play, never watched those Nebraska teams of the 90s, right? So this is what I like to call recency bias of young people, right? So we remember that as like the greatest team of my childhood, ergo they're the best team there was, and that's just not true. I mean, if that were the case, I would be like 80.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is why I thought about this fucking topic.
It's a fact, though. It's recency bias, and there were some great national. For me, like I could be like 80 Georgia, 81 Clemson was a great team, 88 Notre Dame, who went undefeated, beat all these teams, is the greatest team of all time. That's what recency bias is. That's what I remember. Lou Holtz, Notre Dame, blah blah blah, yada yada.
But Catholics versus convicts.
Right. Catholics versus convicts, and Catholics won that game. But even to go further down the rabbit hole, like I was, already past my young stage. I was in my formidable years when I got to watch 95 Nebraska just fucking beat down everybody. Like it really. So that. I just want to let you know, like, honestly, I was not born in 1990. I may look young, but I was 1980. So my recency team, I don't have a childhood bias on that, because Notre Dame was my childhood bias.
Yeah,
I watched them year in, year out do really good. I watched them win the national championship in '88. This is 100% unbiased opinion from somebody who has been watching college football since he was little. So that 95 Florida Gator team got beat 56-20 by Nebraska. We're not talking 27-21. We're talking they took a motherfucking beat down is what happened. So it's not the same. I know you want 0-1 Miami. Want it so bad. You were born in the late 80s. I get it. That's what you want.
I'm sorry that I was born in 1990, and when I witnessed Miami beat down Notre Dame, I'm like, oh my God, we fucking suck. My mother gave me the universal mother stare. And she's like, how dare you? I was like, sorry, it is what it is. Miami is just that good.
I mean, I literally, that's fine that you and JQ and your phone. I mean, like Miami was a great team. I'm not taking nothing away from them. But 95 Nebraska is just better. Like, we were on our expert panel last year. We broke this down game by game, and you got all like Kyle Golick. Kyle Golick is one of the most well-respected people in college football in the entire country. You had Colin. You had Chris. You had George. You had Cody. You had Hunter. All of us, like 95 Nebraska, like that's the team that is the best one ever. Like, just if you really, really, really need a comparison, that 95 Gator offense is really close to the 0-1 Miami offense. Go back and look at the players that were on that team. Just so you know, go back and look at that roster, and you'll be like, oh wow. And remember that 95 Nebraska beat them down 56-20. Like, this is a reality. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna say this. It was. I think at one point in 2001, people were saying that Nebraska was the best team in the country. The '01 Miami Hurricanes put that shit to fucking rest in the national championship.
look, I don't remember anyone arguing 0-1 Nebraska here. Like, I don't remember that shit at all because I
Fair.
know nothing about 0-1 Nebraska. Like that,
Hey, they were good enough to get to the national championship.
they were a good team. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from them. I'm not taking it away at all. I'm just saying 95 Nebraska would have beat the hell out of 0-1 Nebraska too.
Yeah. You know what? I will agree to that. And this weekend, I will definitely watch the highlights of 1995 Nebraska.
Do it. Watch all the highlights in the games that you can. Like try to watch the whole games if you're able, so you could just get a sense of the rhythm that they use to just wear down and beat down their opponents. Highlights really doesn't do it justice, right? I remember watching 0-1 Miami thinking, man, this is a good team. Like this is we've had since 95 Nebraska. I remember that. But that doesn't really like call down the fact that it makes them better. I really like this subject. I think maybe we'll mention it this week, and we'll get Chris's opinion.
Absolutely.
I'll see if Cody can stop by the show. We'll get his opinion right. I can't remember exactly which one Cody chose, so he may even be on your side. I have no idea.
Hey, look, this is the reason that I thought up this topic. Like, there are so many great teams that graced our television, and we didn't even fucking know it because they were just so good. I mean, like, you even look into the 2005 national championship between Texas and USC. USC in 2004 was so fucking good. It was like Reggie Bush was superhuman.
And Hunter, he had 04 USC was 03 or 04. I can't remember my head. I'm tired. So he had them over 0-1 Miami. But even as much of a homer as Hunter is for USC, and he even was like, yes, nobody comes close to 95 Nebraska.
Hunter, I'm gonna have a talk with you.
Hey, look, he'd be more than happy to talk.
It's gonna be a fun, dark humor type of talk, but it's gonna be a fun one at that.
It is, but I'm just telling you, like, this is a hill that anybody who was old enough to watch both these teams play in the league they play are just going to be able to tell you, hey, this is how it was.
Right.
It just is who it is. I have no love for Nebraska, right? South Carolina got into a huge fight in their Citrus Bowl, and like it was a whole big thing and all that, right? So, but with that being said, it doesn't mean that just because now I hate Nebraska that I'm going to discredit what their 95 team was. Hi, honey. The other show waiting for me to come on. I went in there and I told her that I was going to jump on. I told her I was on No Mercy and I was going to jump back on after my spot, but I'm not up yet. So she finally figured out that, hey, I want to see my husband. He's probably No Mercy.
Yeah, well, she's probably a little too busy dealing. I want to say, you know what? I'm gonna say she's probably dealing with a little too much pussycats in the yard.
So we have a lot of cats in the yard, but most likely scenario, the boy, that's what she's doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's definitely a fight.
That's so bad because I feel like Homer Simpson because I call him the boy, and then I remember watching The Simpsons and he always called Bart the boy, and it's funny because when I was a kid, I was so bad that they would be this little bastard is Bart Simpson in real life.
You're kidding.
I'll see if I can get my mom on this show, and she will tell you just how fucking awful I was. But but evolution of life. Now here I am, Homer. I like donuts, and I call my boy, and you know, it's just weird how life goes. Right?
Hey, look, we didn't know it, but our free trial expired the day we turned 18. I want my fucking refund because adulting sucks.
You know, and here's some hope for you. Adulting gets a lot better at 40. It really does, because I remember thinking from 18 to 37, I was like, man, like, this life is a fucking shit show, man. And
I love it.
And I became very grateful for life, you know, when I found Jesus. And I started respecting the little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, and then, you know, it's not just, I mean, Jesus is the biggest part, no doubt, but also maturity that I gained through wisdom, right? Like I like, you know, help me mature. I'm still, you know, 18 years old, you know, just thirsty for, you know, being a dick to people. And I just didn't want to be that anymore, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
So then I matured. Like, I think when you mature, like, life becomes a lot more enjoyable. And adulting, like, I like going to cut grass. I like knowing that the you know, the house note is paid. I like it. I like adulting.
Yeah. No, for sure. I completely agree. I mean, before I went on deployment in 2020, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she gave me a present, which was a Saint Michael necklace and the pendant was a shield. So it had Saint Michael casting out Lucifer from heaven, and on the backside of it, it had the Saint Michael prayer, because he is the what is it? He is the patron saint of military, first responders, nurses, firefighters, police, everything like that. And every time I see the prayer of Saint Michael, I'm just like, man, why does that make so much sense?
Well, you will see.
Mm-hmm.
Maturity makes you enjoy life more.
But
yeah, no, I definitely agree. When I was your age, even up until like about 6-7 years ago, adulting really fucking sucked, man. Like, I got to get up and cut grass. I just want to play the game. Like, I got to go fucking. I want to go and watch the bet, you know. And then I guess you mature and you're like, that's really not that important. I'll get to and I think a lot of it to do with this day is like you can watch things on your own time. You don't have to. I've got to be home by 7 p.m. to watch this. You know, that was the burden of growing up in the 80s. Right? Yeah. And I think a lot of that maturity and convenience now, where you can catch things when you want them. But none of that really matters, because 95 Nebraska is still fucking better than 01.
I see what you did there, good sir, and I applaud you for that. Well fucking done. But as long as if 01 Miami Hurricanes had Butch Davis still as their head coach, they are winning, no doubt about it. That man was Howard Schnellenberger 2.0. That man decided, hey, you know what? Let's cut off the portion of South Beach and bring the people that want to come to Miami into the picture. Obviously, the results showed. But man, we got so many college dream matchups worth talking about. I mean, look, we could talk about 2009 or 2008 Florida Gators versus 2010 Auburn Tigers. If anything, we could talk about the 2012 Alabama Crimson Tide versus the 2019 LSU Tigers.
I'm down. We'll do that next week. But I'm about to be up. Thank you. Finish the show strong. Have a good time, everybody. Sorry I have to jump off, but I got to go do this other show, talk about media days, because I was at SoCon media days. But thank you all. James, thanks for having me. And
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Enjoy the show and have a good fucking time as always. All right. So again, that was the host of College Sports Villains, Mr. Andrew Anderson. Oh, it looks like we got a comment. Ooh. Many websites disagree with you too, Andrew. Ooh. We will talk about that next week. Why? Because again, we have so many college football dream matchups definitely worth talking about. Now, I understand we have 4 minutes left before we hit the 2-hour mark, but Dog Media Network, I sincerely apologize. Look, oh my God, what is it? The college football dream matchups are just something that could easily take up an entire show. I understand I have a lot more stuff worth talking about, so let's get right the fuck into it. All right. So I already talked about the Cincinnati Bearcats. They are going to go 2-10. Their schedule looks like fucking shit. But let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals and their quarterback, Joey. If you are a WWE fan and you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. Anyways, we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joey M&M Burrows has to finish the story sometime soon. So let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, it's understandable that Jamar Chase is holding out, but let's take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals schedule. So week 1, they welcome the Patriots. They easily get the win. Look, Bengals, I'm sorry y'all take the loss against the Chiefs. Or if y'all feeling something, maybe y'all get the win at Kansas City. Ah, shit. Well, it looks like, you know what? The Chiefs are going to take the win over the Cincinnati Bengals. Next game up, they are back in Cincinnati taking on the Washington Redskins. Yes, I said the Washington motherfucking Redskins. Try to cancel me, baby, because if you are a true football fan, you will still call them by the Washington Redskins. Anyways, the Bengals are back in Cincinnati, welcoming the Washington Redskins. Bengals get the win. They go to Carolina. They take on the Panthers. They easily get the win. Why? Because Carolina fucking sucks. After that, they go back to Cincinnati to welcome the Ravens. I'm sorry that the Ravens are just too fucking good, but it looks like that the Ravens are going to walk away. So, right now, after the Ravens game, I got 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. Giants, I love you. Love you, love you, love you. But I think that the Bengals are going to go 4-2. They go into Cleveland to take on the Browns. If the Browns defense shows up, and I know that the fuck that they will, Bengals go 4-3. They go, ooh, man, this is definitely a tough one, but I think that, yes, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. They go 5-3. They go 6-3 against the Raiders. They go 6-4 against the Ravens. They go 7-4 against the Chargers. They go 8-4 against the Steelers. Oh my God, we're the Steelers. We have Mike Tomlin as our head coach. We've never had a losing season. Well, guess what? You're going to take an L over the fucking Bengals, baby. Now, the Cowboys may seem like that they're all in. Hang on, let me go back real quick. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3. 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4. So they do take a loss and go 6-5. Going into Tennessee, they go 7-5. They get a redemption win, going 8-5 over the Cleveland Browns. They go 9-5, and to finish things off, they go. Wait, am I high? I mean, I'm looking at the schedule right now for the Browns, and it looks like that it's 17 weeks. But we'll say that the Bengals finished 10-5 or 11-5. Wow, why did I say 10-5? Am I dumb or just fucking stupid? Anyways. Speaking of the AFC North, we got another AFC North team to talk about. A team that has never seen a losing record since the 3 head coaches that they have had in their entire existence, for crying out loud. So, we are going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, and we are also going to talk about the University of Pitt. God damn it. Jeez, I'm so sorry. Technology does not want to work right now, and I mean, it is what it is. There we go. Okay. So we got the Pittsburgh Steelers and University of Pittsburgh schedules pulled up. Let's talk about it. Let's start with the University of Pittsburgh, the Panthers. They get the win over Kent State. They also get the win in Cincinnati against the Bearcats. And if you ask me, they get the win over West Virginia. After that, they welcome Youngstown State that Pittsburgh also gets the win against. Now they go into North Carolina 4-0, where they take their first loss of the season. They bounce back, welcoming University of California. Going 5-1. After that, they welcome Syracuse. Syracuse is... But you know what? I have faith in the University of Pittsburgh. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are currently 7-1 going into SMU to take on the Mustangs. They unfortunately walk away from that game, being 7-2. They welcome Virginia going 8-2. After that, they lose to Clemson. You know what? For all intents and purposes, let's just say that Pittsburgh finishes their schedule 10-2. But let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have never seen a losing season ever since Mike Tomlin has been the head coach. So, first week of the season, they go into Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Pittsburgh walks away with that win. They are 1-0. They go into the Mile High City. They are 2-0. They go into they go back to Pittsburgh. They welcome the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh. I'm sorry. As much as I love you and as much as I think that you make a good head coach for the San Diego Chargers, like I said, I'm calling them by their original name, the San Diego Chargers, because fuck the LA Chargers. Anyways, they beat the LA Chargers in Pittsburgh. So they are 3-0 going into Indianapolis. I think they take a loss to the Colts because we get to see what Anthony Richardson is made of. After that, they go back to Pittsburgh and welcome the Cowboys. You know what? I think they get the win against the Cowboys. So right now, I currently got them at 4-1. They go into Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Ah, man. Like I said, I think that the Raiders, Jesus, stop burping. Anyways, the Raiders, they have Antonio Pierce as their head coach. And like he said when he was welcomed in as the head coach, he is trying to bring back that LA Raiders type of swag. He even brought up people from the practice squad onto the sideline just to see what it's like, to motivate them. So right now, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. They take a loss to the Jets, so they're 3-4. They get a win over the Giants. I'm sorry, Giants, as much as I love you. It is what it is. All right. So the Steelers are 4-4. Let me double check. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4. They get the win over the Redskins. They're 5-4. They are 5-5 after taking a loss to the Ravens. They are 5-6 after taking a loss to the Browns. 5-7, 5-8, 5-9, 5-10, 11. Yeah, no, it's definitely not a good year for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I will be the first to tell you that. Why? Because from the Ravens down, from the Ravens up until their final game against the Cincinnati Bengals, it is a fucking gauntlet for them, all right? And I dare anybody to tell me fucking otherwise, all right? But we got one more team in the AFC North, the AFC champions, the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to get to them in a bit. But for right now, we got to talk about their college counterpart, the Maryland Terrapins. Yeah! All right. So, first game of the season, they welcome UConn. They easily get the win. Michigan State, they really haven't been all that good when it comes to football. They welcome Michigan State. They are easily 2-0. They go into Virginia. They are 3-0. They welcome Villanova. They are 4-0. They go into Indiana. They are 5-0. They welcome Northwestern. They are 6-0. They take a loss to the USC. They are 6-1. They go into Minnesota. They are 6-2. They go into Oregon. They are 6-3. They go back home and welcome the Rutgers. They are 7-3. Hang on, let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-1. 6-2, 3, 7-3. Okay, 7-4. So Maryland finishes the season 7-5. They get a win over Rutgers, but they also take a loss to the Iowa Hawkeyes. And on top of that, they got to go into Penn State. That is one of, if not the toughest places to fucking win. They finish 7-5. They get a bowl game. And they enjoy life going into the off season. So let's talk about. So speaking of Maryland, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because Baltimore is in Maryland. Now they go into Kansas City. I think they get a revenge win over the Kansas City Chiefs. They are 1-0. They go back to Baltimore. They welcome the Las Vegas Raiders. They are 2-0. They go to Dallas. This is a tough one. Actually, you know what? No, it's not a tough one. They go into Dallas. They are 3-0. They go back to Baltimore and welcome the Bills. The Bills have been carried by Josh Allen for so long. And you know what? I think that the Ravens go 4-0. They go into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. I think that the Bengals hand the Ravens their first loss of the season. They are currently 4-1. They go back to Baltimore and welcome the They go back to Baltimore and welcome the Redskins. They are currently 5-1. They go into Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. They are 6-1. They go into Cleveland to take on the Browns. They are 6-2. They go back to Baltimore. They go back to Maryland. Welcome the Broncos. They are 7-2. They stay in Maryland and welcome the Bengals. They get that revenge win over the Bengals. They are 8-2. They are 9-2 when they go into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. They are 10-2 when they go into LA and take on the Chargers. Now, here's where things get rough. They take their third loss of the season, courtesy of the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, look, we will get to Philadelphia in just a bit, all right? But for right now, we are talking about the Baltimore Ravens. They go into East Rutherford, New Jersey to take on the Giants. They are, oh, shit, I lost my track. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2, 10-3. They go 11-3 after beating the New York Giants. They go 12-3 after beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know what? I'm thinking that they go into Houston and take a loss. They go 12-4, and then they finish off the season that they had last year. They finished 13-4 after they take a loss to the Cleveland Browns. Why? Because Cleveland's defense gets it done, and it's not even close, especially when the defense is being led by Myles Garrett. Now, let's get into the final topic of today's show. Again, Dog Media Network, I am so sorry that this is over 2 hours, but there have been so many good topics we're talking about that, my God, how can we not talk about them, all right? Look, obviously one of them was the college football dream matchup between the 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers and the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. If those two teams got together, let me know in the comments who would win. And if the national championship was on the line between the 1995 Cornhuskers and the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments who would win that game. It's so hard to do things on camera sometimes, but it is that time of the show, baby! Now, as I stated last week, yes, baseball season is still happening, and I'm all for it, but there's one other sport that would overshadow baseball, and that sport is football, baby. Regardless if it is NFL or college, football season is right around the corner, and I cannot wait for it. Yeah! But I will say this. Until football season is here, we're making record predictions for NFL teams and their college counterparts. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, I did the Baltimore Ravens and their college counterpart, the Maryland Terrapins. I did the Cincinnati Bengals and their college counterpart, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Cleveland Browns are next up on the list, the Cleveland Browns are next up on the list of the AFC North before we close it out with the AFC East. And you're not going to want to miss it because there are definitely some awesome teams in the AFC East, definitely worth talking about. But for now, until football season is here, we're making record predictions for the NFL teams and their college counterparts. And until football season is here, we are closing out the show with the lovely segment known as Name That MLB Player. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you know the player that I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. All right, that's all I gotta say. So let's get right into it. Now, this player got his career started in 1988 and made his debut in September of 1988, if you can believe this, with the Montreal Expos. However, he wouldn't be with the Expos for too long, as he would go on and join the Seattle Mariners during the 1989 season. It was there that we really got to see what he was made of, and also learned that down the road he would be a pitcher to be fucking reckoned with. Unfortunately, as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end, as he would join the Astros in 1999. Now, yes, he spent the 1999 season with the Astros, and it wasn't all bad during his time there, though, yes, they did make the playoffs, but would also be eliminated by the San Diego Padres. And but the Astros would also be eliminated by the San Diego Padres. Now, moving forward though, still in 1999, he would sign a 4-year with an option of a 5th year with the Arizona Diamondbacks for a $52 million deal. It was there. Apologies. This player's career spans so long, it's unreal. Anyways, it was there that he and another pitching teammate helped lead the Arizona Diamondbacks to a World Series win over the heavily favored New York Yankees. Now, keep in mind, the New York Yankees were coming off a three-peat, looking to four-peat. They won in 1998, they won in 1999, and they won in 2000, and they were looking to win in 2001, but the Arizona Diamondbacks would play spoiler alert to the New York Yankees from four-peating. Now, speaking of the Yankees, after 5 amazing years in Arizona, the Diamondbacks would trade him to the Yankees in exchange for 3 players and some cash in January of 2005. It was at this point that the Yankees were on the downslope of their dominant dynasty run, and the game of baseball was also evolving. Now, during his time in New York, it would be a bit lackluster, as he would help the Yankees make the playoffs in 2005, but they would lose to the Anaheim Angels in the ALDS, and 2006 wouldn't be much better as well, as he would be suffered to injuries, unfortunately. But in January of 2007, almost 2 years to the day, this player would be traded. Almost 2 years to the day, this player was traded from the Yankees to back to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for a package of 5 players in 2007. Now, 2007 for this player would be a roller coaster season, as he started off rocky. He found his rhythm, but unfortunately, he would end up having season-ending surgery on his back that he previously injured. It wasn't until it wouldn't be until 2008 that his second stint in Arizona would be over. However, the day after Christmas in 2009, he was signed with his hometown team, the San Francisco Giants, on a 1-year, $8 million deal with a $2.5 million bonus for performance and another $2.5 million bonus for awards. Now, it wouldn't be up until January of 2010 that he would officially call it a career. If you know about the player that I am talking about, let me know in the comments, because because I feel like some of y'all that are tuning in know the player that I'm talking about. But like I said, if you know the player I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But look. Jeez. I'm sorry. My phone does not want to cooperate right now. But I will say this. Now, tomorrow night is UFC 304. And I'll tell you what, I plan on doing a live stream. Do not worry, Dog Media Network, as I am saying this right now. The camera is going to be focused on me. I will not be showing the fight in any way, shape, or form. I will be providing commentary for the fight, and that is it. The only thing, aside from providing commentary for this UFC fight, is the fact that I will be talking about some of the topics that were talked about in tonight's show. That is all I gotta say. Aside from that, you can also catch me as a co-host on College Sports Villains every Thursday at 8 Eastern Standard Time. We also have another co-host on that show as well, Mr. Bandy Chris. Be sure to check him out on the Golden Boot podcast. You are not going to want to miss it. I'll tell you that. I'll say this much, though. As always, do not forget to like and to smash that like and subscribe channel. All right? Smash that like and subscribe channel to help this channel grow. And like I said in the beginning of this show, click that link in the description of this video if you want some Reaper apparel or True Victory merch. As I said before, the codes for both websites will also be in the description of this video, so you can get 10 to 15% off any order that you so please. If you go to if you go to Reaper Apparel and you type in No Mercy Sports 10, you will get 10% off your entire purchase. However, if you're more so feeling True Victory and you use the code No Mercy Sports 15 in the checkout, you use the code No Mercy Sports 15 during your checkout, you will get 15% off your entire purchase. But like I said, if you're not a merchandise person and you're more of a technological person, all you gotta do is, aside from clicking the link in the description of this video, is click the tab that says Best VPN Ever. All right. There are a lot of people that are willing to tactically acquire your information and use it against you. All you got to do is, again, click the tab that says Best VPN Ever, and your information is safe and secured. You don't have to worry about a damn thing. I am the host of No Mercy Sports. I will see y'all tomorrow night when I do a live stream of UFC 304. Man, like I said, we'll be talking about some of the topics that were discussed on this show. But until then, peace